What's going on? Welcome to Gaming with Bare Hands. I am Bare Hands, and today feeling pretty trashy. I've been sick for the past day or so, and it really hit me hard yesterday. I want to apologize for not getting those out, but when you're feeling low, sometimes you just don't get a whole lot done. Hopefully we'll get back on track soon. But this challenge came out with the battling ram, and I've been playing it on and off. When I'm sick, I don't really play that well. I don't know why that is, but my brain is a little mum-fuddled. And I was playing with a deck that kind of looked like this. And I was doing a fairly good job with this deck. I got up to 11 wins a couple of times, which is really frustrating when you can't get up to 12 wins. And then I woke up and I decided, you know what, I'm sick. I need to get into the mood. So I grabbed myself a little bit of OJ, and then I remembered, hey, let's see how OJ is doing in his grand challenges. And he is using this deck right here, and apparently having a ton of success with it. Not only him, but a lot of people are using this deck. Go check out OJ's video on this deck if you haven't already. He is much more popular and more skillful of a player than I, so if you want some advice on how this deck is played, that's the place to go. Today for me though, I just wanted to grab a couple of wins, and I have gotten 2 wins in a row with this deck, and I plan on playing it a little bit more, hopefully grab some more, get my battling ram up to level 8, which would be really, really awesome. I think I would only really need one more grand challenge win to put me at level 8 with this card, which is super cool. I'll be able to use that in grand challenges moving forward, and I really like the card. It's fantastic. I just want to kind of show you guys how I played the deck. This thing just crushes the meta out there. It's fantastic. Wearing my Captain America shirt. I'm ready to go. Wearing my blue and orange socks. Yup. Got my mason jar orange juice. Very important. Tissues on hand. Also very, very important. Let's jump into a couple of these games and show you how this deck is played, and maybe if you see this in time, you could grab a couple of wins yourself with this deck, bump up that level on that battering ram. Alright, this game against Tasmaniac here was a pretty standard game. This is the other meta deck that is dominating the challenge mode right now. Giant Lightning, we're going to actually play another Giant Lightning, which is a different variation, but pretty much every single deck you play looks something like this, okay? We're going to go ahead and throw our Tombstone down to pull the Giant off to the side. He gets a Musketeer down here. That battering ram hits the battlefield and pops 2 Barbarians, which is going to end up taking out this Giant nicely here. And then that Musketeer is on the other side of the river, just doing a really great job for him, dealing large amounts of damage to our defense. Our Skeleton Army cleans up that battling ram really quickly, and then his log is unable to take out the skeletons in time, and then we kind of clean up the Musketeer here with a Knight, which that Knight is one of the best cards against this meta right now, because you can throw that thing down on the Executioner, on the Electro Wizard, on the Musketeer, and on the Bowler even, and it completely shuts those cards down if they're on your side of the river for an excellent trade elixir-wise. Here we go. Grab 1, 2, 3 swings off on his tower with Barbarians, which is so good damage-wise because these games last a really long time. Any kind of chip damage you could get is great. So let's go ahead and quickly throw down our Skeleton Army here. I kind of thought he had overextended here, didn't know to the extent that he overextended, but we just ate both of those cards alive with the Skeleton Army, which is really, really bad. You don't ever want to throw cards down into a Skeleton Army because that's pretty much one of the other cards you're always going to see is the Skarmy. So if you don't have a counter to the Skarmy, don't throw 6 Elixir down. Don't throw Elite Barbarians or a Giant down if they can just throw a Skeleton Army and decimate it. So here he goes, Electro Wizard defending against this Knight. Not horrible for us. We're going to go ahead and throw down kind of a defensive play here with the battering ram. Sorry, my voice is all congested-y. Super gross. He has his Electro Wizard doing work. We're going to get a nice push here with our Miner. Before, when we were playing with the Goblin Barrel, it just wasn't as consistent damage-wise. We've got his tower over there down to 668. Again, his giant is going to get demolished by the skeleton army. We're kind of keeping him back on his toes long enough to where he can't back up his giant with the executioner or have that log ready at the same time. We're playing it really well. And we shut this down, we grab that tower right at the end there, and he knows the game is over. He's not going to be able to get 1,400 damage off of our tower in time. And we've just kind of shut this game down for him defensively. It's exactly what you want to do. Play nice and defensive the whole game. Wait for them to play those units on their tower and get that rocket down there. Get chip damage the entire game with that miner on their tower. Make sure you vary up where you play the thing. Here is the other variation of the deck. There are a couple more, but these are the two main ones. We've got the giant elixir pump. I'm just going to go ahead and exert my dominance here. Exert the dominance on that elixir pump there with a rocket, putting us at an equal trade there, but it's not going to allow him to build up those massive pushes I know he wants to. He's going to go ahead and throw his giant down in the back here. I get my knight down, and he chooses the opposite lane. So he goes ahead and throws his giant in the other lane. Really, we could go whichever lane we want to, so we decide let's go ahead and push this lane because I feel pretty confident in defending against the giant. The battling ram is going to meet its maker there with the tombstone. Excellent combination counter, excellent counter to the battling ram, which is one of the reasons why we have it in our deck. His giant's going to come up and kill our tombstone. We shut the giant down, which is kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to throw a push down, prevent him from building up too much behind his giant, and that's exactly what happened. And now he's got to deal with the executioner here, so he's got to spend that 4 elixir with his electro wizard to cancel the executioner. I'm going to soak a little bit of damage on the electro wizard and destroy that elixir pump again with a rocket. We're not dealing damage, but like I said, you want to play super defensive when you're playing these challenges and get that tower out after overtime, ideally. That way you don't overextend taking the tower out and then lose your tower because you can't defend, because once their tower's gone, you're done, okay? That's the end. So play really defensive. Let's go ahead and get our knight down in the back. Let's go ahead and get our tombstone again to start getting skeletons, dealing a little bit of chip damage to that giant. I'm going to throw my executioner down in the back here. Now he's got both of his defensive structure targeting units coming in at our tombstone here. He's forced to use his log on the Skarmy, which means you now have a bunch of skeletons helping out against that giant, and we're able to shut it down completely. He goes ahead and throws a lightning down here. I'm going to back up this counter push with a miner because I thought we were going to have a little bit more meatiness to that push, but unfortunately not the case. Let's go ahead and defend against the executioner here. And then he's going to go ahead and get his elixir pump. Now, there's a point in every game where you have to start ignoring the elixir pumps and go for the win. So I decide we're at the 30-second mark. Let's just go for it and stop worrying about the elixir pump, because that elixir's only going to give him so much worth now that we're in this last minute of the game. And so we're going to push really, really hard here. He's got his executioner here. Now we have the rocket to start dealing damage to the tower and to his executioner. So now his pushes are going to become a whole lot weaker if he continues throwing that executioner down. Now he throws another elixir pump down. So I decide, you know what? It's time for us to go for it. He's going to get his battering ram down here. We've got our miner on his tower. He is actually going to push it away there with the battering ram, which is a little bit unfortunate. His ram is going to die right before it hits the tombstone, which is really nice. And we've got his look at his tower down below 800. That is really close. You can start doing some really poor plays when you're in a desperate situation like this. Our tower down to 1,000. His executioner coming right at the bridge. We're going to be able to divert the attention of the executioner with the battering ram. Then our knight is going to come up behind it, start dealing some work. We're going to throw the miner in a place that we've never thrown it before, over on the left-hand side of that tower. And with his tower under 500, you can throw that log rocket right at the end and ensure that victory. And that's exactly what we do here at the end of this game. So great game there. Some things we could have played a little bit better there, but ultimately we end up getting the win there. Really, that's all you need to do, right? All right, we got this game against Hassan here, BD Legend Star. This was a great game. He is playing with a hog deck, which you see those occasionally in the challenge. We're going to start off Nice and conservative to start with our knight in the back, and he's going to push with the hog ram right out of the get-go. So we're going to go ahead and play our tombstone with our knight here. That's going to shut that down nicely. And then we're going to be able to throw down our miner here to kind of complement the knight, and unfortunately his Mega Minion's going to shut the knight down, but we're going to chip some nice damage off on the tower, bringing it down, wait for that ice golem to pass by there, bringing the tower down to 2, 1, 20, 86. So kind of I don't know if that was necessarily worth it, but we're behind on elixir here. We're going to go ahead and throw down our ram immediately to back up our executioner, and he gets a nice counter with the Electro Wizard, but that executioner deals so much damage. Maybe needed to get the Electro Wizard at a different angle there. Here he comes with his hog. He's going to nicely zap away our Skarmy there, and he gets 2 hits off with the hog, which is not good. You don't want them getting 2 hits off with the hog. Then we're going to go ahead and get our miner down again, so we're chipping more damage than his hog can chip with our miner. So let's go ahead and slow things down a little bit more. Get our tombstone down on the field. It's going to slow his Mega Minion down long enough. Computer's saying things to me. Slows the Mega Minion down long enough to actually shut it down before it can get to our tower. And I feel pretty decent about this. We're going to throw down a really slow executioner in the back again, knowing that he wants to push with that hog. He's wasting a little bit of elixir. This is exactly what you want to see. We throw our rocket onto that executioner, completely take that thing out, and now he's within rocket range for his tower to go down. Let's go ahead and get our Skarmy down way back here. We kind of wanted to avoid the ice golem destroying all of our skeletons, and he didn't zap the Skarmy away, which means that we were able to get rid of that get rid of that ram immediately, and then his hog's coming in here, really pushing hard with this hog. He zaps again, getting 2 more hits off. He's on point with that hog zap there. Electro Wizard coming in here, coming in with the battering ram again. Let's go ahead and throw down our tombstone to draw the battering ram. Our knight is distracting one of the shots of his Sith Lord there. His hog is getting all cattywampus pushed aside. We're going to go ahead and log back into our knight. The executioner stuns it so it doesn't get another hit, and the knight executioner combo with the log shut the hog down completely, and he is out of time there. We were able to just control that game defensively. Maybe not the best defensive plays, but then our miner was just chipping so much damage off on the tower that once he made a couple of misplays with the executioner way in the back, we were able to rocket and just demolish that tower. An executioner rocket combination on that tower, that is -1 elixir to deal almost 500 damage onto the tower. It's hard to beat something like that. That is a great trade. Alright, this was getting close to the end of the challenge here, and playing against, not even going to try that name, a complete mirror matchup. And so I was playing against somebody with the exact same deck here. I'm going to go ahead and throw our miner down quickly, just to kind of bait something out, see what he has. He throws his executioner down in the back, so we go ahead and throw our rocket down. Got to make sure you time that rocket right, because if you miss the executioner, you are doomed. We take that executioner out there, then he's going to throw his miner down, and we're going to counter with our Skarmy. We've got a ram coming in here, so I tried to get the tombstone down, but was way too late. Probably shouldn't even have tried that. The barbarian is going to deal a ton of damage to our tower there, and I'm going to back up our knight here with the miner again. So now that I know that we're pretty much an exact mirror matchup at this point, I kind of have an idea of how he's going to counter things. So he probably is in the same boat, but I feel like I do really well knowing exactly what cards that he has to counter what. So I can kind of decide how to play this game knowing what cards he has. He's got his knight coming here toward our tombstone. We're going to shut that down. I had to be a misplay on his executioner going to the wrong side there. So I'm going to be able to counter his 5 executioner with our 3 knight there. Just kind of play it off to the side and completely shut that down. And then our ram gets to his tower, bringing it down to rocket range. So now his tower over on the left is pretty much finished there, and I'm feeling very comfortable where I am in this position, knowing that he's going to have to work really hard to catch up to this point while I can push toward his right-hand tower. Now, I put my tombstone over on the left-hand side because I know he's going to be pushing his ram combination toward our left-hand tower. So just playing really defensive now. He gets his tombstone down on the field. I'm going to throw my miner down over on his right hand. Nope, I throw it over on his left-hand side. Apparently, I forgot how I played this game. I'm going to kill his tower over on the left-hand side. Probably would have been a little bit safer for me to start pushing his right-hand side there. Look at this Executioner. We play it up at the bridge, and the range on this thing, I guess he wanted his knight to distract it, but my Executioner was already locked on over there, and that is maybe one of the best defensive Executioners I've ever seen. He's coming in with a minor rocket. The rocket does not kill the knight, so we end up saving that tower with the knight chipping away that miner, and he only needs to get one more rocket to put this into overtime, but his tower over on the right-hand side is in dire need of some help, and his Executioner is a little too close to that tower, so let's go ahead and throw our rocket on there, and it's going to clean up his Executioner and his right-hand tower, and he is not going to have enough time. He could have thrown that rocket, but I don't think it had enough time to get to the tower and clean that up. So, excellent game. We're not going to show the last game of the challenge because the guy just misplayed right at the beginning of the game, and I pretty much wiped out his tower, and he kind of gave up there. So giving me the 12 win with against the P.E.K.K.A deck where he just messed up right in the beginning, misplayed. Those misplays are hard. You don't want to give up after a misplay, but it's hard to come back if you're playing against a really solid player when you play a misplay right at the beginning. Oh, it hurts. Alright, one more game here for you guys. Playing against One Piece in Nova France Clan. And I'm just throwing this one in here because we're playing against a deck that you don't see very often. You're not going to see a Three Musketeers Sparky deck all that often. And in the meta, man, I just tore this thing to shreds. Let's go ahead and throw down our Knight, our Executioner here. His Elite Barbarians are coming in. We're going to get our Skarmy down there. Excellent play right into that log. Don't think I could have played that Skarmy any better. And he is laughing at us now. And so, even though we defended pretty well there, we're behind on Elixir pretty significantly. Our Executioner is going to deal a nice job damaging his Executioner, so it kind of evens us out a little bit here. It is going to still have about half health coming toward our tower. Here he comes with a Sparky. Now, this is look at this. Excellent defensive card. We now have another counter for the Sparky, as that battering ram is going to take the brunt of the Sparky shot and two Barbarians pop out. So, awesome card to defend against the Sparky. Hadn't even thought of it until that exact moment when I played it and said, oh, that'll soak a shot. So we saved our tower from taking a hit there. Here he comes with a minion horde. It's got to be hard playing the minion horde against the decks that are out there. Every single deck is running the Executioner. Look, even his deck is running the Executioner. So let's just go ahead and just rush in here with Skeleton Army, because I knew that he had used his log. And look at the damage that Skeleton Army gets off there. With his Executioner distracted for a moment, we were able to bring that tower down to... I feel like it's going to die right now. Oh, man. 80 health. So he is within log range of that tower dying. So, again, I thought at this point, how in the world can this man possibly deal any damage to our tower? And there's the answer, the Golem. If he's able to get a Golem push that's strong enough in overtime and double elixir, man, that thing can hurt. So it was a little bit worried here, and then he throws his Three Musketeers all together next to his tower, and I was able to run his tower down to 400 and kill the Three Musketeers. That might have been the most beneficial play of a rocket I've ever seen. Killing a tower and taking out all of the Three Musketeers. And then look at all of these very delicious little units all clumped together here. The Executioner is just going to kill all of them. And I'm going to run in here over to his right-hand tower with a miner, take that out, and I don't think I'm able to get the 3-star, but man, it hurt playing this game. Kudos to him trying a Sparky Golem 3 Musketeer deck. I really give props to the people who try new things. Awesome. But man, if you want to get some wins in this challenge, definitely switch over to this deck and do some run-throughs with it. Maybe, pretty confident in saying this is the best deck in the meta in this challenge ever. This thing is so awesome. Let's see what we've got in our 12-win chest here. 22,000 gold as expected. 5 Barbarian Huts. We got some Furnaces. A Bowler, which we can now upgrade. Yes. Valkyrie. Giants. 2 Executioners. We need 1 more Executioner, unfortunately. And I even donated an Executioner today. Oh, that hurts. That's what you get for being nice. Elixir Collectors. How many Battling Rams do we get? 58 Battling Rams. 1 more win with this challenge. We can upgrade that to level 8. A Prince and 663 Mortars, which we can take to level 12. I don't think I have any level 12 cards yet. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Like I said earlier, I'm going to link OJ's video down below where you can get some more feedback. He's also linked the inventor of this deck below his video also. So if you want to just become awesome with this deck, there are plenty of resources for you to do so. I want to give credit where credit is due, and I am not due any credit for coming up with this deck. This thing is a monster. Guys, if you're playing the challenges, bust out that meta deck and get you some wins. Totally worth it. Level up your cards. Take advantage of the good cards that Clash Royale has provided you with. And go out there and have some fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I am so sorry I haven't been uploading, but once I'm feeling a little bit better and back in the swing of things, we will get that video sequence pattern back in the roll, getting videos out as often as we possibly can. Thanks so much for stopping in. Don't forget to come back for more Gaming with Bare Hands. I appreciate you liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you do, I'll see you next time. Have an awesome day.